Ladies and gentlemen, your success is their silent storm. It moves through their life like a wind they can't see but can't escape. On the outside, they act as though nothing has changed. They shake your hand. They nod in approval. They even manage a thin smile when the topic of you comes up. But deep inside, there's turbulence. Every milestone you reach sends ripples through their soul, disturbing the calm they pretend to have. They compare themselves to you in moments they'll never admit, standing in the shower, staring at their phone, lying awake at night when the world is quiet. What eats at them isn't just that you've achieved something. It's that you've done it despite everything they thought would stop you. They were counting on the weight of your past to hold you back. They believed your mistakes would define you. They expected life to humble you in ways it never humbled them. And yet, here you are, moving forward with a momentum they can't match. That reality rattles them in ways you'll never fully see, because their pride is the last mask they have left. They hear your name in rooms they thought belonged to them. They see your work praised by people whose approval they once craved. They notice how the world starts to shift around your presence, how conversations change when you walk in, how people pay attention when you speak. These little things, the ones you may not even register, are daggers in the side of someone who built their identity on being ahead of you. Your very existence in this new chapter is a disruption to the story they told themselves about who you were and who they were in relation to you. They won't fight you openly. They won't show their hand. That's the thing about silent storms, they destroy without a sound. Inside, they're picking apart every detail of your rise, searching for a flaw, a misstep, a weakness they can comfort themselves with. They replay your life like a critic watching a film they secretly admire but refuse to compliment. And yet, the more they look, the more the evidence builds that you are not slowing down. This realization forces them into a state of quiet unrest. While you're making moves, they're making excuses. While you're investing your energy into growth, they're spending theirs managing resentment. They're learning that silence can be a heavy place to live when it's filled with the echoes of someone else's progress. That heaviness becomes their daily, whether unpredictable, unsettling, always present. You might never hear the thunder, but you can be certain it's there, rolling just beneath the surface of their calm facade. Your success has become the atmosphere they live in, a constant reminder that no matter what image they project to the world, the storm inside them rages on without mercy. Envy ages faster than time. It wears a person down in ways no clock or calendar ever could. You can see it in the eyes of someone who once stood tall, who once carried themselves with quiet certainty, but now carries a heaviness they can't explain. Wrinkles don't just form from years, they form from the weight of watching someone else leave the life they feel they should have. Skin doesn't just lose its glow from age, it fades when bitterness becomes the lens through which the world is seen. There's a corrosion that comes from envy, slow and invisible at first. It's not like a wound that heals. It's more like rust, creeping through metal, eating at the structure from within. Every time they scroll past your achievements, every time they overhear your name in conversation, a little more of them wears away. They start waking up with less energy, moving through their days with less joy, because their mind is not in the present, it's stuck in a comparison they never win. They remember moments when they felt ahead of you, times they believed they had more, were more, did more, and those memories, instead of bringing comfort, sharpen the contrast of where things stand now. It's not just that you've caught up, it's that you've passed them in ways they didn't think possible. And every inch of progress you make feels to them like another year carved into their spirit. The mind can't carry envy without the body paying for it. Stress lives in the muscles, bitterness slows the blood, jealousy bends the spine. People start to carry themselves differently when they're carrying thoughts they'd never dare speak aloud. They avoid mirrors, because reflection is not just about what you see on the outside, it's about what you're reminded of on the inside. Envy makes even youth feel old. It makes moments that should be light feel heavy. They try to hide it. They'll still laugh in public, still post photos of vacations, still present the image of a life in motion. But there's a difference between motion and momentum. Motion is movement on the outside. Momentum is movement on the inside. And envy drains momentum until all that's left is the appearance of living. The truth is that time is moving for all of us, but envy multiplies the toll. It turns days into burdens and years into regrets. You might not notice the change when you see them. You might not realize that the reason they seem smaller, the reason they seem dimmer, is not just the passage of years. It's the slow erosion caused by holding onto comparisons that cut too deep. The heart, when poisoned by resentment, does not keep time with the rest of the world. It beats heavier, slower, weaker. And in that heaviness, envy carves its own clock into the soul. A clock that counts not the moments of life lived, but the moments wasted watching someone else live instead keep moving. The noise is proof you're ahead. The world rarely stirs for the ones standing still. Silence surrounds the stagnant, but motion draws attention, and attention carries both admiration and resentment. Every step you take toward a goal sets off a ripple that someone, somewhere, feels. You might not see them, but they see you. They feel the space growing between where you are and where they remain, and that space makes them restless. It's not the kind of restlessness that pushes them forward, it's the kind that makes them reach for reasons why you shouldn't be where you're going. At first, it's subtle. People start asking questions that sound harmless, but carry a weight you can hear if you listen closely. Are you sure that's a good idea? Don't you think you're rushing things? What they're really saying is, you're moving faster than I'm comfortable with. The faster you move, the more these voices multiply. They gather in corners, both literal and digital, analyzing your choices, doubting your abilities, hoping for signs that you'll trip so they can call it inevitable. The noise doesn't come from strangers alone. It often comes from the familiar faces you thought would celebrate every step with you. Some will mask it as concern, others as humor, slipping in a sarcastic remark that sounds like a joke until you notice they've told it more than once. They speak of your ambition like it's dangerous, of your success like it's suspicious. And while it can be tempting to take their words to heart, you have to remember noise is not the voice of truth. It's the byproduct of movement. The ones making the most noise are rarely the ones ahead of you. Those who have already walked the path understand the silence of focus. They know what it's like to climb and how little time there is to critique someone else's steps. The loudest are usually the ones standing still, using their energy to talk instead of to move. And the more you hear them, the more you can be sure that you've stepped out of their reach. Noise has a way of revealing your position. In racing, the leader feels the wind differently than those behind. You can't see the people you've passed, but you can feel the resistance of being out front. In life, that resistance often takes the form of voices questioning, doubting, undermining. It's the pressure of attention that only comes when you've moved into a place others want, but haven't reached. There's a strange rhythm to it. The quicker your pace, the louder it gets. Every accomplishment becomes a fresh reason for commentary. Every bold move you make adds fuel to conversations you'll never be part of. It's not personal, even when it sounds like it is. It's simply the sound of people adjusting to the fact that you've gone further than they expected, faster than they were ready for, and that your direction is no longer theirs to control. Their pain is their prison, not your problem. People carry pain in different ways, but some carry it like a badge they never take off. They keep it close, feed it, protect it from healing, because in some strange way, it has become part of their identity. They measure every interaction through the lens of old wounds, every opportunity through the memory of past failures. When they see you moving forward, breaking through walls they never touched, it's not just a reminder of where they are, it's a reminder of the chains they never tried to unlock. Pain has a way of distorting vision. It makes the world seem smaller, possibilities seem unreachable, and joy seem suspicious. For some, seeing another person rise doesn't inspire them, it threatens them. It disrupts the story they've told themselves about what's possible. They've convinced themselves that the ceiling is fixed, that certain doors will always be locked, that certain victories belong to other people. Then you come along, walking through barriers they thought were impenetrable, and it forces them to confront the fact that the walls might only be in their mind. But instead of freeing themselves, they double down on staying inside. It's easier for them to criticize your movement than to challenge their own immobility. It's easier to question your motives than to examine their own resignation. Their pain becomes a place they know well, a cell they've decorated, a space they've convinced themselves is safer than the uncertainty of trying again. And so, when they lash out, when they undermine, when they distance themselves, it's not truly about you. It's about protecting the comfort of their captivity. There are people who will guard their pain as if losing it would mean losing themselves. They will rehearse their setbacks until they sound like facts of life, until the possibility of change feels absurd. When you succeed, you disrupt that rehearsal. You bring a new script they don't want to read, one that requires courage, effort, and vulnerability. Your progress doesn't just make them envious, it makes them aware of the choices they've avoided. The prison of pain is built from patterns, reinforced by fear, and locked by the refusal to see beyond it. Some spend years inside, blaming the guards when in truth the key has always been in their own pocket. They'll project that same mindset onto you, waiting for you to falter so they can justify staying where they are. If you stumble, they can say, "See, I was right to never try." If you fall, they can say, "That's why I stayed in here." But when you keep going, when you refuse to let their limitations shape your steps, you challenge the entire foundation of their reality. And that challenge is something many will resist with everything they have, because accepting it means facing a truth they've buried so deep, they've forgotten what life outside the walls even looks like.